From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Welcome into SportsLine, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is the Wednesday extravaganza. I'm Jon Burton with you for the next hour. Great to have you with us here on News Channel 5 Plus for SportsLine. We have no guests lined up tonight, so your phone calls are encouraged. 737-7767 is the number to call. Anything that is on your mind tonight in the world of sports, we can certainly discuss it. Would love to hear from you tonight. A lot to get to, a lot going on. Of course, the Titans back to work at St. Thomas Sports Park. The 7-2 Titans, the top seed as of now in the AFC, Tennessee Titans, coming off that big Sunday night win in LA over the Rams. They've got the New Orleans Saints coming in Sunday at Nissan Stadium. That's a noon kickoff. Keep in mind, with the now 17 games scheduled, that was the added game for the Titans this year, a home game against the New Orleans Saints, who of course will be without their starting quarterback Jameis Winston. It'll be a combination of Trevor Siemian, who of course is a former Titans backup quarterback, and Taysom Hill, who does a lot of things for that New Orleans Saints offense under Sean Payton. We're going to hear from head coach Mike Vrabel in a little bit, quarterback Ryan Tannehill, various members of the Two-Tone Blue. We will get to that later on in the show. Again, your phone calls, 737-7767. My question tonight is for Titans fans. How far do you expect the Titans to take this thing? Can they be the number one seed in the AFC? Without Derrick Henry? Can they get to and perhaps win the Super Bowl? Are we getting too ahead of ourselves? Still 8 more games left to play. A lot of football still left to be decided here. Lots on the table. Predators starting to wind down their big road trip. They are on the road again tonight. They'll be back on the road tomorrow, back home Saturday night at Bridgestone. And that's for one game. Then they go on the road for like 3 more games. So the Predators certainly getting a lot of frequent flyer miles on the road during this early part of the season. You know about Nashville SC. They'll be the number 3 seed in the MLS Eastern Conference playoffs. They will host Orlando a week from Tuesday over at Nissan Stadium. Of course, they held the 2 spot for much of the MLS soccer season, but slipped down to the 3 spot with some stumbles down the stretch of the regular campaign. We can talk about that if you like. Also, college basketball well underway. Vanderbilt playing its season opener tonight, as are the Lady Vols. Steve Lehman will have highlights of both of those games for you over on News Channel 5 at 10:21 during sports. But last night, the UT men's basketball team, high expectations again for this team, a team that was one and done in the NCAA tournament back in the spring. They opened their season with a 90-62 win over UT Martin at Thompson Bowling Arena up there in Knoxville. Just a couple minutes, we're going to hear from Rick Barnes, the head coach, get his thoughts on what he saw last night. Also, a reminder back to college football as we spin around here in the early part of the show. Of course, the Tennessee football team will host number 1 ranked Georgia Saturday afternoon at Neyland Stadium. That is a 2:30 kickoff here locally, 3:30, of course, in Knoxville. And you can watch the game over on News Channel 5. Again, a 2:30 kickoff. I will be there to cover that game. Looking forward to that. A huge game for the Vols. Can they pull off what would be a monumental upset over the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs? Let's take a quick phone call before we hear from Rick Barnes and check in with Jay, who joins us. Good evening, Jay.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for calling.
All right. I want to ask a question. I want to know what's the problem with Taylor Ward. We can't get nothing done without him. So he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. He's been injured. You know, he's coming off a major knee surgery. He's trying to work his way back, and he's had a few setbacks here and there. So, you know, listen, there's no excuse for what happened in the first game when he got lit up by Chandler Jones against the Arizona Cardinals, giving up all those sacks. But you know, he's had trouble staying healthy, so it's really tough to judge him what he's done on the field when he can't get on the field.
Yeah, but you know, the thing about it is, I'm trying to say, we spend all that money.
I understand.
And there's other people out there that can play.
I understand, and thanks for the call, Jay. And you're right. Listen, Taylor Lewan is one of the highest paid players at his position in the NFL. At one time, he was the highest paid left tackle in all of football. And you're right. You know, he's had trouble getting on the field. And for a guy who makes the salary that he does, much is expected of him. And, you know, he pulled up, I don't want to say pulled up lame. He was not able to go Sunday night. He was a late scratch in that game against the Rams. Bobby Hart had to get the start at left tackle. Lewan was expected to play. Apparently something went wrong in warm-ups, and we've seen that a couple of times this year. You recall week 2 in the Seattle game, he had to pull out of the game during pregame warm-ups. So it's something you have to monitor. And so, listen, you know, you can't blame a guy for being injured. Like I said, he's coming off major knee surgery, but I can understand a fan's frustration with a guy who makes as much money as Taylor Lewan does not being available. What do they always say? The best ability is availability. So it's just something we'll have to continue to monitor. And when you look at what the Titans have done, they've dealt with injuries all year to key players, none bigger than Derrick Henry, who I still believe will likely be out for the rest of the season. It's going to be next man up mentality, and hopefully Taylor Lewan can get back in the lineup and stay there consistently going forward the rest of the season. We'll see where that goes. All right, so that's on the table. Somebody can jump in where Jay left off. 737-7767 is the number to call. We're going to get to more Titans talk in just a little bit. But first, as we said, college basketball getting going this week. The UT men's team with a win, 90-62 last night at the TBA over UT Martin. Here is head coach Rick Barnes talking about last night's win.
Pulled into trouble one time and got the hook, but just what did you think about his maturity out there?
Well, Rob, there's no doubt. We know offensively, you know, he's electric. He can do a lot of things. He's still learning how to run a system. He's defensively is learning that there's a lot of guys that have the ability to go by him. And you know, tonight defensively he was reaching, lunging. We did that as a group, and we're giving straight line drives. We came in the game wanting to defend the 3-point line. We think it's really important when you play certain teams that we do that, but we've got to be able, in talking about Kennedy, I mean, at half court, he gave up, let a guy drive from half court and go dunk the ball because he lunged. But with that said, I don't have any idea what I do because I saw it on film at halftime where our help side defense wasn't there. So we've got to be able to defend the 3-point line plus help and recover back. But and he's got to continue to get himself in elite shape mentally. He's there physically. It's just continuing to learn how to fight harder when he's tired, because we still want a quicker pace out of him on the offensive end, because we just think we can get him going in the open court with people backing up. That's when he becomes really lethal, and he hasn't done that yet.
Martin shot, I think, 57.7 in the first half. What did you see defensively that wasn't? What was going wrong there? Well,
you know what I thought they did? I mean, you know, obviously, you know, we practice at a very high tempo pace. We don't practice a lot where teams are walking the ball down the floor, getting into a set. And, you know, I told the coaches, the game started, hey, as much as I like to not let anybody get a shot off, sometimes we're not doing that. And you got to give them credit for making their shots. But they clearly had a plan to spread us out and drive the basketball. We had a plan that we wanted to defend the 3-point line, but when we say that, we still want to help each other in those gaps, and we weren't doing that. We were overzealous trying to guard the 3-point line, but the tempo they played was, you know, we're going to see that some because we're going to run. We're going to try to get out and push tempo. We want to get in a high possession game, but we're going to play against teams that are going to try to slow us down that way by maybe taking a little bit longer time on the offensive end. And if we're playing defense the way we should be really forcing them into long possessions on the defensive end, on the offensive end, on our defensive end. But got to give them credit. I thought we knew they would be energized coming in like anybody this time of year, your first game of the year. You know, I met Ryan Ritter a month or so back over in Nashville, and really impressed with him. And obviously knowing Dr. Carver, who was here when I got here, the job that hiring him was a great hire. They do good stuff. They came in with a game plan. They worked it, and like I said, they shot 43% overall for the game, but at one time they were up in the high 60s, and you got to give them credit for that. But we just felt like again, it was a good opener for us because it exposed that we've got to get better, and but this time of year we know we have to get better, especially playing against outside competition now.
Ryan, Mike, and Ben.
Eros and Olivier seemed to get in a little bit more of a groove in the second half. Just what seemed to change for them, and just how did you assess your front court with Folky out?
Well, we made a mistake on the bench. I don't know how we missed it, but we had Olivier for 3 fouls, and the book had him for 4. And again, we don't know how it happened, but it happened based on what the table said. But Olivier, the more time he gets, the more we expect him to settle in. He did a yeoman's job on the boards. He got a double-double, but it was his effort to go get it. He was going after it. He picked up his 3rd foul, I guess, the one when he went in, and I told him, I said, you went into the guy as opposed to going up. But I think the more he plays, the more he'll settle in. And at the end of the game, we were there watching him. He kept wanting to switch, which honestly we were happy with it, because we think in today's game you've got to have a post guy that can switch out on guards and guard them. And the fact that he was locked into it and wanting to do it, even though that wasn't the defense we were calling for, we really kind of liked it, because he was just like, hey, I'm going to show I can do this. And overall he did a pretty good job with it. And Urosh, again, I think the same thing, getting time. They need time. Obviously, we get Folky back, Brandon. All this is new for all of them, really, because none of them have played big minutes in games yet. So every minute they get, it's important.
Rick, what do you think this team's defensive potential is, and what will it take to get there?
I didn't hear the last part.
What do you think will it take for this team to get there defensively to where they need to be?
Well, again, they followed early what we said. Now, we have never, ever said to them, we're going to guard the three-point line and forget about help defense. We've never, ever said that. And we were anxious, there's no doubt. We were trying to make great plays, reaching, lunging for the ball, trying to make a play. Josiah actually said that and got driven by. And I said, look, we got to make plays as a team. It can't be one guy going off like, I'm going to try to swipe if I miss, putting our team in trouble. But I thought Joe did a good job, too. He didn't make a bunch of shots, but he had, 5 steals, 4 blocks. And, Mike, it's, again, until we develop a rim protector, we've got to rely on our gaps, the discipline. We've got to have discipline on the white line, being there to help. And then, obviously, that puts us into, if we can stay in front of the ball, it solves a lot of problems. And we did a better job. We did do a better job in the second half. And when we did break down, it was because of just letting them get a step away from us on the other side, and we call it separation, and then trying to play catch-up the whole time, trying to get back in front of the ball. There's nothing that they did that we can't fix if we have the mindset to fix it.
Rick, I know you all are okay with taking more threes this year. Has your mindset changed on what a good 3 looks like from last season, now that you all are taking more, or what does a good 3 look like now that y'all are taking more?
I'm trying to think right here. I thought I don't think our guys quite yet have a feel, because there's a fine line. There's really a fine line about we've worked hard. If we're open, in rhythm, with shots that we practice, we're going to take them. But with that said, we have to have an offensive rebounding mentality. And tonight, I think we got 22 of them where we run them down. And we get offensive rebounds. Unless we can get a clean putback, we are definitely looking to spray up for a 3. We really are. Because to us, it's an extra possession. And where we've got to understand a little bit is when we've gone, again, at some point in time, people are going to really guard us out there. There is no doubt, because they know we're going to shoot it. We got capable shooters. But even in games when we get good looks or just not going in, and we know that happens at times, that's where we've got to have a feel for, okay, we got to get some penetration, whether it's with a pass, whether it's, we've got to make the defense work a little bit, even if it means turning it down the first one to try to go get a better one. And that's where part of what we're doing this year, we'll learn from it. But what we're not going to do is, I don't want these guys hesitant. Obviously, Jon comes back. Will we do more through him? Obviously, we will. But we were trying to get some of that done tonight with O in there. But you can score in the lane with guards. I mean, they did it tonight. Think about it. I don't know if they really posted the ball that much, but they got to the lane and made some layups. We do have to do a little better job finishing some of those drives to the basket that we had.
Finish up with Troy and Grant.
Rick, you touched on it a little bit there, but 16 points. You touched on it a little bit there, but 16 points in the paint in the half court. Just how important is it to be able to establish something inside for nights when the shots aren't falling?
Well, it is, and again, you can establish some things inside different ways. If you got a player you want to post and go in there, you can, but we can get it with dribble penetration too. And Kennedy has done a good job. Zakai gets it there. He's going to have to make better decisions. It's all new to him. I mean, he's playing against bigger, stronger players than he has, and he's just got to make better decisions getting there. And the offensive end right now, again, we always want to get better, but we've got to do a better job, no question, what we do on the defensive end.
Rick, how important is it for Fulke to get some minutes Sunday, and is there a realistic timeline for Jonas to get minutes anywhere in the near future?
Well, Jonas just got back right now. He's had like 3 practices, and Fulke has been doing everything he can do without the contact, but he needs to get a little bit under his belt. And if he can, is it coming back? Is that what they think?
It's probably a place.
So what he does, that means if he's going to play, that means he's going to have to do a little bit of work this week in practice. But again, he's been here long enough, and he knows, and you guys know him. He'll give us another dimension that we don't have right now.
Coach, thank you.
That's Rick Barnes, head coach of the Tennessee men's basketball team, who opened the season with a 62 win at home over UT Martin. As we said, Vanderbilt playing their season opener as we speak, hosting Alabama State over at Memorial Gym. 48-27 Commodores at last count there. Also the Predators on the road tonight, still on the road. They're in Dallas tonight. They had a 1-0 lead over the Stars. So plenty going on tonight. Again, Steve Lehman will have highlights of all of those big games for you over on News Channel 5 at 10, around 10:21. So make sure you're tuning over for that. All right, time for our first break. We come back, we'll get into some Titans talk. Titans getting ready, looking for a 6th straight win and to go 8-2 on the season if they can beat the Saints at home this Sunday. We're going to hear from head coach Mike Vrabel straight ahead. Stay with us.